discussing loans, or we're working with loans, all right? So it's not just loans as well. It obviously would be loans, but the other situation where we would be able to use the present value formula is, for example, if any one of us were lucky enough to win the lottery, right? And we were given this lump sum of money, or this lump sum of money was available to us. And what we were doing is that every single month we were taking a little bit out in order to be able to live on it. Then we would also use the present value formula. So future value is where something gets paid in and it grows to a future value of a certain amount. Present value means currently, right now, there is this big amount of money that either needs to be paid off, or we are withdrawing from it, and it's slowly decreasing over time. This present value is becoming smaller. Okay, so again, X is the number of payments that are made per period, I, the interest rate, N, the number of payments, and obviously P represents the present value of the loan. All right, so let's have a look at a simple example. James takes out a bank loan to pay for an expensive laptop. The interest rate is 18% per annum compounded monthly, and the monthly repayments are 1,650 Rand and 24 cents, okay? And they are made starting 1 month after the granting of the loan. They want us to show that James borrowed an amount of 18,000 Rand. Okay, so we are not allowed to use the 18,000 at all. That's the answer that we have to get to. So when they say to us, show that in maths, whether it's financial maths or any other section, we basically have to pretend that we don't know that that was what the answer was, and get to that answer anyway. All right, so simple, simple, simple. We're just going to go ahead and sub into our present value formula. Okay, so the present value of James's loan, so X is 1650,24. 1 minus 1 plus our interest rate, in this case, is 18% per annum compounded monthly. It's a horrible interest rate for poor James, but anyway, how many payments of 1650.24 did he make? Well, he took the loan out over 1 year. And he started paying 1 month after the granting of the loan, so he would have made 12 payments, okay, of that amount of money. All right, so somebody's put something into the chat. I just want to see what that is. Okay, no problem. All right, and now we can pop that into the calculator and we can work out our answer. You guys can share with me what you got. Now, remember, your calculators are super fussy, okay? If you open 2 brackets, you got to make sure that you close 2 brackets. Otherwise, the calculator is going to say syntax error, right? And I don't think there could be anything more nerve-wracking than getting that in a test or an exam, especially when you're certain you're doing the right thing and then it goes and it does that to you. So make sure if you open 2 brackets that you close 2 brackets. All right, okay. Are you guys getting 18,000 Rand? Because that's what I'm getting. Hopefully you're getting the same thing. All right, yes, Kaiser, yes, Moronkoa, there we go. Okay, so easy peasy to calculate the p-value. We just basically have to go ahead and go and sub in. All right, everybody happy with that? We can move on to the next one. Good stuff. Okay, all right. So here is Malibongwe. He takes out a bank loan to pay for his new car, and he is repaying it by means of monthly repayments of 5,000 Rand for a period of 5 years, starting 1 month after the granting of the loan. The interest rate is 24% per annum compounded monthly. Calculate the purchase price of his new car. Okay, I'm going to let you guys do that one on your own. Okay, so that's what you get, Kaiser. Yes, I've got the same answer. Yes, Kelebohile, I've got the same answer as you. Good stuff. Okay, so we all understand how to do that quite easily. All right, so the present value of the loan. Over 12. So he made 60 payments because he made one payment a month for 5 years. And his interest rate was 0.24 over 12. So yes, I quite agree. I also got that the purchase price of his vehicle was 173,804 Rand and 43 cents. Good stuff. Okay. Well done. Everybody happy with that? We can move on. Okay, so here's just something a little bit different. Okay, so how much money will you need to win in the national lottery so as to receive equal monthly payments of 10,000 Rand per month from a bank for a period of 20 years starting 1 month after winning the money? The bank grants you an interest rate of 12% per annum compounded monthly. Okay, so again, you have it's a present value annuity. You guys should be able to do that one. Absolutely. Okay, good, Kaiser. Good, Taniko. I got the same answer as you guys as well. Okay, so I just wanted us to do that one so that you could see that it was still a case of us having to use the present value annuity formula. Okay, so in this case, our present value, we could take our 10,000 every single month. All right, and if it was for a period of 20 years, so if we took it once a month for 20 years, that would be 12 times 20. So that's 240 payments of 10,000 Rand that we could take out. So yes, we would need to win 908,194 Rand and 16 cents. Okay, good stuff. All right, everybody happy with that? Smiley faces, sad faces, how are we feeling? We move on. Cool, thanks, Morongoa. Nice, Kaiser. Rachel, you look content. Okay, so this one isn't really any different. It's just the time period that's changed. And I think this is something that's important for us to talk about, because in our next lesson, I've got some sort of really difficult questions planned for us to do, but I don't know, maybe we'll be able to do those this lesson. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. All right, so Lorato, we have to calculate how much money Lorato can borrow from the bank. If she repays the loan by means of equal quarterly payments of 2,000 Rand starting in 3 months' time. The interest rate is 18% per annum compounded quarterly, and the duration of the loan is 10 years. Okay, so now they have changed how frequently the loan is repaid. Okay, also the compounding period is also quarterly. Right, so remember, when we use the present value formula, there always has to be a gap, right? So a gap of 1. Now, 1 what depends on the question, all right? So if you are paying the loan monthly, then there has to be a gap of 1 month between when the loan is granted to when you start paying it. If you are repaying the loan quarterly, then there has to be a gap of 1 quarter until you start repaying it. So 1 quarter is 3 months. If you are repaying a loan in sort of very unusual circumstances, let's say that you are repaying the loan by means of half-yearly payments, then there would need to be a gap of 1 half year, so 6 months from the time that the loan is granted to the time that you start repaying it. Okay, there's always got to be a gap of 1. Okay, so as I say, 1 what depends on the story that the question comes with. Okay, so Kaiser, when they say quarterly, all right, quarterly means that you would divide your interest rate by 4, but there are 3 months in 1 quarter. Okay, there are 3 months in 1 quarter of a year. Do you guys want to try this question on your own? And then I'll obviously do it with you. Okay, Kaiser. Okay, that's not what I got, Kaiser. Not that I'm saying I'm right, but let's just see what the others get as well. There, that's what I got. That's what I got, Rachel. Oh, no. I got the 36,000, but I didn't get 459 Rand and 31 cents. Yes, Tiyiko, that's what I got. Yes, Kilobohile, that's what I got too. Okay, so I will do this now. I'm just going to give other people just a chance to try the question on their own. Some answers here. Let's have a look what you guys say. Yeah, it's hard to sometimes find your mistake, isn't it, Rachel? Yeah, and you were super, super close. Okay, so this is how I would have done it. Have I given you guys enough time? You happy for me to show you how I would have done it? Or do you want me to wait a little bit? Yes, Kaiser, that's it. Yes, can you see, 100%. That's what I got as well. Okay, so the present value of Lorato's loan, so 2,000 Rand is what she borrows, 1 minus 1 plus, so interest rate is 18%, compounded quarterly, so we must divide that by 4. Okay, now remember, she is making quarterly payments, so that means that she makes 4 payments a year for 10 years. Okay, so that means that she is going to make 40 payments in total. Okay, over that 10-year period. Okay, because she's paying every quarter. All right, so if you pay every quarter for 10 years, it means you'll make 40 payments. So yes, I agree with you guys. I ended up with 36,000. Sorry, I was looking at the answers I did before the time. 803,17. That's what I got when I answered this question. Okay, so you forgot to times. Okay, all right, but does that make sense why it would be 40? I hope so. Okay, we're all feeling good about that. Okay, Rachel. Yeah, no, there's not an extra payment made in this case. Okay, so now here, just something a little bit different. Okay. Brenda takes out a 20-year loan of 400,000 Rand. She repays the loan by means of equal monthly payments starting 1 month after the granting of the loan. The interest rate is 16% per annum compounded monthly. Calculate the monthly repayments. Okay, so now let me just go and grab our formula and bring it down here for you guys so that it's easy for us to access it. What are they asking us to calculate here? Exactly, Kanisile. Okay, so SL Bavuma, it's 1 minus because we're using the present value formula. Okay, I've just gone and grabbed it, the present value formula, not the future value formula. Okay, so that's why it's 1 minus 1 plus. Okay, the formula, I've popped it here for you to have a look at again. Okay. No problem. No problem. Okay, so we need to calculate X. So I'm going to let you guys do this one. And then again, we can talk about our answers. Give it a try. Yeah, and then again, when you get an answer, you're welcome to share it in the chat with the rest of us. Thank you. Okay, Tanika, I'm going to have a look at my answer. Let's share poll. Good, good, guys. Yes. Very, very nice. Yes, indeed. Good job. Excellent. Yes, Rachel, 100%. Cool, Rory. You guys are quick, hey? Nice. Yes, Kelebochile, lovely. Yes, Chiamo. Good job, everyone. Okay, so I'll just put that up and then we can quickly move on. So here we're calculating the value of X, the monthly repayment. So compounded monthly, the number of payments, again, starting 1 month after the granting of the loan, 20 years. So that's going to be minus 240 then, isn't it? Because it's going to be 20 times 12. Alrighty. And then 0.16 over 12. So what we would have ended up doing here in order to be able to solve for X, those of us that are still calculating it, is we would have made X the subject of the formula by cross multiplying 400,000 with 0.16 over 12 and then dividing all of that by what was in our square bracket. You don't actually have to write this middle step. I'm just doing it to show you guys where it would have come from. Okay, yeah, and then I quite agree, 5,565 Rand and 2 cents. Okay, lovely. Well done, Kanyisile. Good job. And Johannes as well. Okay, nice. Good job, everybody. Right, we want to try another one? Or do you guys want to move on to something that's a little bit more difficult? Can we move on to the more difficult questions? How are you feeling? Want to practice another easy one? Or can we move into the more difficult work? Difficult, I agree. All right, that's great because I've got lots of difficult questions planned for you. Okay, so let's jump into it. So the first one, Mary takes out a 10-year loan. Hang on a second. Okay, so Mary takes out a 10-year loan, all right, of 150 Rand. She repays the loan by means of equal monthly repayments starting 7 months after the granting of the loan. The interest rate is 15% per annum, compounded monthly. Calculate the monthly payments. Now, this question is not as straightforward as it seems. And the reason that it's not as straightforward as it seems is because she doesn't start repaying the loan 1 month after the loan is granted, as would be the usual case. She starts repaying it 7 months after the loan is granted. All right. So what are we going to do differently here in order to answer this question? So can you see that you're saying subtract? So when you say subtract, do you mean we're going to reduce the number of payments that Mary is going to make? Is that what you mean? So, but the thing is that if just think about what you guys are saying, she takes out a 10-year loan. She repays the loan by means of equal monthly payments starting 7 months after the granting of the loan, right? So that means her loan is granted, and for the first 7 months, she does absolutely nothing. Then she makes her first payment, all right? So she's still going to have to repay it over a period of 10 years. Okay, she just doesn't start making payments straight away. So in other words, in this particular question, what they are trying to imply to us here, all right, is that Mary let's check that that's right. Sorry, I'm just looking at my answer. Where's my answer? Okay, so yes, you wanted to subtract. Okay, that's fine, perfect. So you wanted to subtract. Yes, okay, fine, 100%. I agree with you. And then what else is going to happen in this situation? Okay, so we've subtracted the 7, which is great. KZ, gains interest. Yes, both you and Butle have said that the P is going to gain interest. All right, so okay, so okay, I'll let you try and answer this question then. Okay, go ahead. We've had a little bit of a discussion about it. So the loan has to grow and the number of payments that she's made have to be reduced. So you've got that part right. Okay, yes, Cassandra. So in other words, you're going to have to grow your loans. It was like Kaiser was saying, it gains interest. And like Butle was saying, it gains interest. You are correct. You can draw a timeline if you want to. Let's just see what SharePoint. You can draw a timeline if you'd like to. I'm going to get any marks for it, but you certainly can do. I'll start putting a timeline up. Actually, That was silly of me. It is tricky, isn't it? Okay, so the question becomes, all right, so she starts to pay the loan off in 7 months' time. So this is her first monthly repayment here at T7. What is the loan doing between T0 and T6? It's growing, isn't it? So banks are very, very clever, all right? I'm sure we've all seen those advertisements where they say to you, buy this brand new car, only start paying in 6 months' time. Okay, they wouldn't do that if they were losing money, all right? They're only going to do something that's going to benefit them and make people like you and I poorer. All right, so what they do is they take the loan amount and it grows using compound interest. That's what you were saying, Cassandra. Okay, so it's going to grow at an interest rate of 15% per annum compounded monthly, and it needs to grow for a period of 6 or 7 months. Matrix, remember there has to be a gap of 1. Yes, well done, Indy. Good job. That's lovely. Excellent. Very nice. That's the right answer. Okay, so remember there has to be a gap of 1, in this case, 1 month. Okay, so there's going to be 6. Remember that 6 represents the number of times the interest is compounded in the period. Okay, we're using compound interest, right? So the loan is growing. All right, then here, 1 minus 1 plus, our interest rate is 15% compounded annually. And remember, you guys were saying that we would have to subtract the number of payments, okay, from the 120. Okay, so if you start paying at T7, all right, that means that there would be 114 payments, all right, that Mary would need to make. Okay, it's over 12. Okay. Okay, so Cassandra and Rachel, you didn't get the right answer. Did you write this? Is this what you had? Okay, you used 7 instead of 6, but remember there has to be that gap. Okay, so there has to be a gap between where the loan stops growing and her payments start. Okay, so here is your gap of 1 month. Okay. So the idea is this: if you start at T7, and that's when you make your first payment, and you go and you pay up to T120, you're going to say 120 minus 7, okay, which should be the 113, but then you would need to take that and you would need to add 1, because remember, you need to count that you are starting at T7. So it's like in sequences and series where you say top minus bottom plus 1. You are starting to count at T7. Does that make sense to everybody? That's why it's not 113. It's 114. Okay, Buhle? Because 120 minus 7 is 113, but you're starting to count at 7, aren't you? Okay, so there's 7, so at T7, that's your first payment. So that's why it's got to be 113 plus 1. Okay. Yeah, tricky, hey? That's it, Kelebohile, quite right. So now you're going to cross multiply. So in other words, this is the bit that's not so bad. So we've got 150,000, 1 plus 0.15 over 12 to the power of 6, multiplied by that. And then it must all be divided by this huge big bracket, 1 minus 1 plus 0.15 over 12. Okay. And then that's what I got. Okay, well, at least I think that's the right answer. I'm pretty sure this is correct. I got 2667.29 when I did this. All right. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so can you see there? Can you see there? Look at it like this, okay? Imagine we've got T, so we've got T0, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, T10. Let's just make this a little bit simpler, all right? If I say to you, okay, that I am going to start making my payments here at T4, and I continue to make payments every single month up to and including T10, you are going to say 10 minus 4, I make 6 payments. But now count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 payments. Can you see? Okay, so there's three where you didn't make a payment and 7 where you did. Can you see now why you have to add that 1 in? Does it make sense now with easier numbers? Does it make sense? Can you see there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so so now that I've explained it like that, where we're starting at T4 and we're making payments all the way up to T10, you can see that there are 7 payments that are made, not 6. Does that make sense now? Cool beans. Okay. All right, let's try another challenging question. All right. So 32 semi-annual payments of 6,000 Rand are made in order to repay a loan. The payments start in 2 years' time. Interest is 18% per annum compounded semi-annually. Find the size of the loan. Okay, so again, I'm going to let you guys try this one on your own, and then we can talk about how you think we should answer it. Okay. That's not what I got. But I'm not saying I'm right, but that's not what I got. Okay, so we're just going to wait a couple more minutes. Okay, that's not what I got either. It's some of the numbers are right. That's not what I got either, Kaiser. So I'm going to let you guys just think about things for another couple of minutes. And then I didn't get that either, boy. Okay, so remember here, okay, there has to be the gap of 1. Okay, so in this case, the gap is 1/2 year. The gap is 1/2 year. Payments start in 2 years' time. Okay, remember, the interest is compounded semi-annually, so that's twice a year. And there has to be a gap of 1. Okay, Buhle, I got the same answer as you. That's what I got when I did it. Okay, should we talk about it quickly? Right, so this is how I answered this question. This is what I said, okay? So in other words, they want us to calculate the value of P, right? The loan is repaid starting in 2 years' time, okay? There are 4 half years in 2 years. Remember, there has to be a gap of 1, okay? So in this case, 1/2 year before the loan is repaid. So that's why I said that this, so 0,1, no, sorry, 0,186 over 2, I raised this to the power of 3. Okay, because there would be 3 half years where the loan would need to grow, a gap of 1/2 year, and then the payments would start. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so remember, when you are working with present value, there always has to be a gap of 1. Right, this is what we were talking about earlier. So it could be 1 month, it could be 1 quarter, it could be 1/2 year. All right, it just depends. Okay, let's have a look if we can do a timeline. Okay, so 0,1, whoopsie, 186 over 2, and then there would be 32 payments like they told us. And then, okay, we would be able to solve P as follows. All right, let's see if we can draw a timeline of this. Okay, so the payments start in 2 years' time. Okay, but now the one would be 1.5 year, wouldn't it? I wonder if that's maybe a better way to look at it. Okay, so the loan is taken out here. Okay, can you see there? The loan has to grow before the payments are made. All right, because the payments start in 2 years' time, the payments are starting over here in 2 years' time. Okay, so these are half years that I'm trying to show you. So the loan is going to have to grow from the time that it is granted for 1, 2, 3 half years. Okay, and then there has to be a gap, Daisy, a gap of 1.5 year. A gap of 1.5 year before the payments start over here of 6,000 Rand. Okay, and then from this point onwards, there are 32 payments of 6,000 Rand. Does that make more sense to you? Okay, so the trick with this question is because the interest is compounded semi-annually. Okay, so we're working in terms of half years. Oh, excuse me. All right, so there would be 4 half years in 2 years. Remember, there has to be a gap of 1.5 year. So the loan has to grow for 1.5 year, 1 year, 1.5. Okay, so that means it's going to grow for 3 half years before the payments start, because there has to be a gap of 1.5 year. All right, so that's why to the power of 3 half years, and then there are 32 payments. All right, so in this case, what I would do in order to be able to solve for P is you would divide both sides by what was in the bracket. Okay, so let's just get rid of that, and we would then say that P is going to be equal to this sorry, and then that must be all over okay, and then yeah, like you, Bushe, when I did this, I got, let's see the answer again. I got 46,000. 538 Rand and 67 cents. And then please do answer the poll. So if you would do that first, and then if you've got questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions you've got. Please, please, please answer the poll. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay, so Casey, you mistakenly said 32 times 2. Yeah, it's easy to get confused with this one. Okay, so all of these are challenging sorts of questions. Okay, because it says here 32 semi-annual payments. All right, so we've just got to be so careful about the way in which we answer them. Oh, it's a pleasure, Rachel. Oh, Cassandra. Okay, Cassandra. All right, so remember the loans got to grow. Okay, but I can understand why you would have done that. Okay, so we'll have a look at some more challenging questions next time. And then the other thing that I'm going to go through with you guys is outstanding balance, because that's something that always gets asked. So it's really important that we spend some time doing that as well. Okay. If you've got any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. Otherwise, you're welcome to log off.